To start your planet painting, you will need a piece of paper with a circle traced on it. Then we're going to use some oil pastels to outline the pencil line that makes the circle and to add some details on our planet before we paint it. So you can think about what colors you want to use on your planet. Think about, is there life on your planet? Can people live there? Is it really hot? You might want to use warm colors if you think your planet has very warm and hot weather, or maybe cooler colors if it's colder on your planet, or a mixture of both. I'm going to outline my planet with pink, but you can choose any color that you like. I'm going over the pencil line with my oil pastel and giving it a nice thick outline. I'm going back over some of the spots a little bit to make sure that I really covered my pencil line here. Now I can think about what I want to draw on my planet. We can think about things like land, water, we could put some spirals or swirl lines. You can decorate your planet however you like, but think about how it is on your planet. Could you live on your planet, or is it too hot? Then maybe if it's too hot, you might want to use some of the brighter, warmer colors. If there's water and land and people can live there, then maybe you want to use some greens and some blues to show that. I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm thinking that people can live on my planet, but also that it's pretty warm there. So I'm going to add a few land spaces, just making some blobs. And remember, I'm not going to color in my entire planet with my oil pastel. We're going to be painting these after, so I'm just doing a little bit of color inside my land shapes. I'm going to mix in some yellow on top to make that green stand out a little bit more, but again, I'm not filling in the entire shape that I drew. I have some white space showing, which I can fill in with paint in a little bit. I'm just going to add some lines to show some details, like my planet is kind of spinning or the wind is blowing on it. You can decide if you want to add some lines as well, or maybe a different shape would be better on your planet. I feel like this is showing that the air is warm on my planet. But remember, I'm not coloring in the entire planet. I'm leaving some space white because my next step is painting. Once you have decorated your planet with oil pastels and you've outlined the edge with an oil pastel, then you are ready to paint. You'll need a messy mat, a water cup, and a paintbrush, and your watercolors. You can paint your planet however you'd like. I'm going to start with some green and paint in my land shapes. Remember, when you're using watercolor, that you need to wake up the color by adding water to it. And then we are just tapping our brush on the color. We never want to smash our brush into the paint like this. That will ruin the bristles of the brush. We want it to stay nice and pointy to create beautiful paintings for us. When you paint over oil pastel, you will see your colors kind of bubble over the pastel. That's what it's supposed to do. Oil pastel and watercolor don't mix. They do something called a resist, where the watercolor resists the oil in the oil pastel, and they just kind of sit on top of each other. It will create a cool texture on your planet. Remember, if your brush is making a scratchy noise, then you need to add a little bit more water for your watercolor to work the right way. It should move around easily on your paper. The scratchy noise means that your brush is thirsty and it needs more water to work. So just dip it back in your water cup and a little bit back on your paint. Now I think I'm ready to paint around my land shapes. I'm going to add some blue on mine because I think I want some water between my land. So I'm going to paint around the land shapes as carefully as I can. I'm also going to add a little bit of purple just for fun. And I need to rinse off my brush in my water cup when I want to switch colors. We never want to get our colors dirty in our watercolor tray, so always make sure that you are cleaning your brush before you use a new color. I'm also going to add a little bit of pink in my water because why not? This is my planet and I can make it look however I want. Remember that yours doesn't have to have green land and blue water. It can be any colors that you want. You don't even have to have land or water on your planet. It could be a planet where people can't live because maybe it's too hot or too cold there. So it can look different than mine. I'm going to keep painting the rest of my planet in until it is all filled with color. All right, so I think I'm all done painting in my watercolor planet. When you're done, you can take your messy mat and your painting to the drying rack to dry. I can't wait to see how your planets turn out.